Dune Imperium Bloodlines. The Emperor has arrived. The third expansion for the Dune Imperium games. Hello and welcome to The Lucky Roll, an eclectic channel for eclectic games, and today we're going to be unboxing Dune Imperium Bloodlines. This is the third expansion for the Dune Imperium game and is compatible both with the original Dune Imperium game and the Dune Imperium Uprising standalone sequel/game. Both are excellent games. The first one I felt reflects the first film in the sense that it's more strategic and faction-based allegiances. The second one reflects the second film because it's much more action-based. So combat in particular is more highly emphasized in Dune Imperium with the addition of the sandworms. Now I've heard that there's a way to balance out the combat potential of the sandworms in this game or in this expansion, but nevertheless it's compatible with both the prior two expansions and I believe the two standalone games. This is one of my favorite series of board games. They're just absolutely excellent, and one of the things I really like is the fact that you get Duncan Idaho as one of the leaders in this. Now with no further ado, let's unbox this game or expansion and see what we have inside. Now unboxing this for the very first time, we are greeted with the instructions and the Sardaukar, the Emperor's Champions. So the instruction book is 12 pages long. It seems it's the same kind of layout that's fairly easy to... I always found these rule books actually quite good in the sense that they lay it out quite well in kind of bite-sized chunks. And yeah, there's a big emphasis here on Sardaukar commanders, which I thought were brilliant in the game, but are brilliant in the movie. Very frightening up to a point until the climax of the second movie, where they just suddenly seem to become useless. So looking at these are the tech tiles for I believe either Rise of Z or Immortality, but it was a technology you could actually buy with the game, and some of these are very interesting. So on your reveal turn, if you have 6+ influence, you get an extra 2 swords. If you have a gene-locked vault, your intrigue cards can't be stolen unless you have 5 or more. You have glow globes, which you may look at the top card of your deck at any time. When you win a conflict, you draw a card, which is interesting, and you can also, I think, it probably costs you to trash it. Your signet ring has the following icons. That's actually very useful because you can kind of go anywhere for the factions. Delivery Bay, your reveal turn gives you an extra 2. Plasteel Blades, whenever you recruit a Sardaukar commander, you trash this and gain an additional Sardaukar commander skill. You have Suspensor Suit, so for each intrigue card you draw or steal during your turn, you can get 1 troop and deploy it to the conflict. And in an agent turn, I'm not sure what that symbol is, but I think it allows you to put troops into the conflict, which would make sense with the rapid drop ships. We have here self-destroying messages, so reveal turn has 1 thing. You have a navigation chamber, board spaces cost you 1 spice or 1 Solari less. Recruiting a Sardaukar commander, including when you acquire one, costs you 1 Solari less. Forbidden weapons, now this is a spicy one. You get 3 extra blades, but you go down a faction, or you lose all your spice and trash this. So yeah, there's a bit of a Geneva Convention to that one. You have advanced data analysis, so to acquire this you must trash 1 of your spies from the board and return it to the box. Okay, so we do that to get a intrigue card, and all of your battle icons are not sure what that symbol means again, but we'll find out later. Reveal turn, endgame, gain 1 influence with each faction where you have 1 or less influence, so you get a spy or a troop. You have spy drones, 1 Solari, and if you recall to spy this turn you get to trash a card. And Chom transports, when you complete a contract, draw a card, and endgame worth 1 victory point if you've completed 4 or more contracts. Now again, that's interesting because the end game is where often you can steal victory. We have a few tokens here. Some are missing, but I think they just fell out into the box there, so we'll zoom in on what we have here. So these are new tiles. I think these are probably Sardaukar commanders, and you have here, these are the Chom charity tiles. So looking at this one, we have Desperate, trash this to get 3 troops, or 3 battle damage. Canny, if you have an agent on a High Council board space, or one with the Pentagon, 2 swords, and if you have an agent on the same thing again, Canny, you have Driven, reveal turn 1 spice, Loyal, so if you're loyal to the Emperor, you get, if you have 3 influence with them, you get 2 damage, 3 influence, you get 2 extra combat damage, and Hardy, on your reveal turn, you get a troop. You have Charismatic, where you get an extra influence to spend on cards. Again, you also have Fierce, so if any opponent has a sandworm in the conflict, so that's interesting in the sense that you get 2 swords for that. We have the other ones here that seem to fall out. So we have Driven, reveal turn, trash this to get 3 more troops, and reveal turn to get another troop. So these, I'm again assuming, are the Sardaukar ones. You have here the Chom Charity, so the Spice Refinery, you can get 2 troops. You get the High Council. That's an interesting one now. I think that that probably goes over the overlay there, maybe. It is, however, a Chom Charity tile. You have Secrets, which again, 2 Slurry and draw a card, and you get a Spies, and probably can shadow a spy here with Deliver Supplies. You have Harvest, and you have Harvest. The rest of this is tokens. We have here another Chom Charity that fell out, which is you can trash an intrigue card to draw a new intrigue card and a new card. And you have Earn Any Alliance, which is basically 2 Solari and 2 troops. And finally there was Tuch Steech, which of course was a big aspect in the battle in the movies. So you can get a spice or draw a card, and there's an extra protection for spice there, which is interesting. We have here the tokens, so let's have a look at some of these. These are the Sardaukar warriors. Even the Emperor's most fierce soldiers are still susceptible to bendy swords. That's probably why they lost. Again, another little bendy sword, but nevertheless, they're pretty cool, but they are tiny. These are teeny tiny. That's my thumbnail. Again, another bendy sword with the teeny tiny. Now, I don't think it's really worth kind of doing much to kind of fix these, because they do look well, and I presume they're designed to look small next to the actual massive sandworms. But it's nice that you get miniatures with this expansion pack, because there's people out there who did buy the massive miniatures all in one box, so you don't feel left out by incorporating this expansion into your game and not having any miniatures to reflect it. We have here some big black cubes and a small gray cube. We have here the leaders, and of course we have Duncan Idaho, who was just an epic character, played so well actually. Yeah, I really had the feels when it came to this part of the movie. So he's a Jinaz Swordmaster. The Swordmaster board space costs you 2 money less. And into the fray, you may take the agent you sent this turn and deploy it to the conflict as a 2 strength unit that can't be retreated. If you have your Swordmaster, it has 3 strength instead. Okay, so that's interesting. And of course you have the usual how to play stats in the back. You have Chiani. That's very interesting. So she has a double. So up here at the top it tells you how complex the actual characters are to play. So she's a tactician. Whenever you retreat or lose any number of troops in the conflict, advance your tactics token that many spaces, earning rewards as you reach them. Reset the token after reaching the end of the track. So that's very interesting in the sense that you get all these icons and it comes back. So you have a 6-player and a 1 to 4 player game. So that is very interesting. You have a Fady Keen maneuver, so you retreat any number of your troops, or you get 2 influence with the Fremen, water. Oh, 2 influence. If you have 2 influence with the Fremen, you can spend water to get to draw 2 cards. So very interesting. You have Peter de Vries, so he's a Twisted Genius. So at the start, you can shuffle the Twisted Intrigue deck and place it face down near you. And the round start, you can draw a Twisted Intrigue card, and he's a Harkonnen advisor, so you can't deploy this troop to the conflict this turn. Okay, so it's interesting, you just get extra troops anyway, but you just can't put it into the conflict. Again, preparing for future conflicts. You have Esmar Tuek. So whenever you send an agent to Tuek Stitch, you get a coin. Whenever an opponent sends an agent there, you get an intrigue card. You can also smuggle spice, so you can place 1 bonus spice in Tuek Stitch, or take 1 bonus spice from a maker board space. You have Steersman Yakroon. So it's a strange form. You start the game with no water and without a signet ring in your deck, and you're hungry for spice. So whenever you gain 3 spice or more in a single turn, you draw an extra card. You can also plot course. So at the game start, shuffle the navigation cards and draw a hand of 5. Choose 4 to place face down above in order and return all others to the box. Whenever you reach 2 influence with a faction, play the next navigation card above, starting from the left. So that's interesting. That's all from up there. You've Count Hasmir Fearing. So whenever you trash a card, you just get a coin, and you may trash a card in your play area or put a spy on an Emperor token. Now this is interesting. Trashing a card in your play area is quite a powerful one. And because you're trashing cards, you can keep your deck efficient. You can get the signet ring a little bit more often. You've Gaius Helimoium. So of course I remember her. She was the Bene Gesserit nun that kind of wanted to stab poor old, I can't even think of his name, the Atreides, Paul Atreides. You have Clandestine, so each card you play has the, it looks like spy icon. Whenever, or I'm not sure what that icon is, but it's obviously in the new discard, in the new game. Whenever you recall a spy to gather intelligence, you must. Okay, that doesn't. You must what? Okay, I'm not sure. I'll have to have the look at the rules for that one. There's listeners, so you have a spy on a high council space, or you have spice, gives you 1 spy. So again, very Bene Gesserit in the sense that they're in the background all the times. You have Liate Kynes, Arrakis Planetologist, ignore the influence requirement of Steech Tabar. You summon no sandworms, and for each one you would instead trash a card, spice, and intrigue. And you've judged the change. So if you sent an agent this turn to High Council space, you get 2 influence with the Emperor for water. If you sent it to a orange space, you get the money. And if you sent it to a triangle space, which is predominantly spice, you get a spice. And you've Coda Odax of Z. So a secret project, game start, peek at the bottom tech tile of each stack, place 1 face down here. Whenever you would acquire tech tile, you may choose this one and it costs 1 spice less. And you have reverse engineering where you have 1 spice, or you can trash one of your tech tiles. So a lot of very interesting leaders here, but again, the first one I will be playing will be Duncan, Idaho. Now, where is he? He's after hiding on me. Here he is, the absolute legend. So we have here a new tech tile board. So that's the Zeon Embassy. So if you have a High Council seat, each tech tile costs 1 spice less. We have here new Bloodline cards and Skirmish objective cards, and we have here the new actual cards for the decks. So we'll open this and have a quick look. I'm glad it says EN because it means it's in English. I'm not very good at my German. So we have Bombast, of course. It's Emperor card. So again, this command with the 6+ icon, that's going to be something I'll have to check when I read the rules. So you get 3 coins and you trash this card. You've Sandwalk. Again, that's pretty cool. I remember seeing that from the movie. So if you gain 2 spice or more this turn, you get to draw a card. And of course, if you have influence, you get Fremen Bond and +1 combat. Again, it's on the Sand Dune cards. So with 2 of the Sandbox, you have Disruption Tactics, where you can force an enemy troop to retreat, and it allows you to work with the Fremen. And you can trash this card to actually send troops into battle. So that's interesting as well. I like that. You have an Urgent Shigowire. So the next Bene Gesserit card, you play this around as an all agent icons and add it to its agent box. You draw a card, 1 influence, nice and cheap as well. You have Command Center. So if you have 2 influence with the Emperor, you get a troop, and you can retreat troops to get +2 purchasing power. Very interesting. An Engineered Miracle. Of course, this was a cool part from the movie, where you trash this card and acquire a card from the Imperium row, or you discard a card to get a water. I believe, of course, yeah. I remember as well, I can't remember the name of the actor, but he played that part so very well. Put a card down to draw another one. You've Litany Against Fear, Bene Gesserit. So at the start of your turn, put this card into play and pass your next turn. You have the Elite Forces. Of course, this is what the expansion is about, the Sardaukar. You may trash a card from your hand, and if you trash an Emperor card, you get an Intrigue troop, and you can send it into battle. Or you can get one purchasing power and 1 combat. Fremen Warname, of course, yes. He named himself after the desert squirrel. So if you've gained 2 spice or more this turn, you get a troop and to draw a card. And the Fremen Bond is, of course, if you have Fremen Bond, you get to use 2 combat and 2 purchasing power. But I actually like that. That's a cool little artistic card. Kudos to the artist and the designer for choosing that. Sardaukar standard. So when this card is trashed, acquire and recruit the Sardaukar commander in the bank. Quash rebellion. Get 2 coins, and if you one or more Sardaukar commanders in the conflict, you get 2. So you have Southern Faith, Bene Gesserit Fremen. So you pick up a card, or if you have another Bene Gesserit card in play, you go up with the Bene Gesserit. Now that is interesting. Of course, it's all about zealotry, so the faith of them goes up. You have the Imperial Throne Ship. Oh, of course, that's what the cover was. I didn't realize that. I'd forgotten that from the movie. This is the actual Imperial Throne Ship when it comes to land on Dune, or the planet Arrakis. So it costs 7, but you get to go up with the Emperor. You can visit most bases, of course, except the Fremen. You get an intrigue card. You get 2 purchasing power, and if you have 1 or more garrison units, you get +1 purchasing power and 3 Solari. So that's quite a good card. You have possible futures with the Bene Gesserit, so upper faction or 2 troops. If you have another Bene Gesserit card in play, get both. And you get a water if you purchase this, and of course it costs 8. You have the Arrakis Observer, so if you discarded the Spacing Guild card, you get 2. So you have 1 and a spy. You can lift up a spy to get 3 troops. You have Eliminate Allies, and what a great image as well of Paul Atreides' father. So when this card is trashed, you get 2 troops. You discard a card, and you get 1 influence and 1 troop, and there's this new symbol here again, which is obviously a new part of the game. You have Holy War, yeah, with the Fremen, which is interesting because it doesn't allow you to go to a Fremen space, but each opponent loses 1 troop. Each opponent spying on the board space where you sent an agent this turn must move that spy. You get 1 in purchasing power, 1 troop, and Fremen. If you have a Fremen bond, you can send lads straight into the war. You have intelligence training, which again is fairly handy. You also get a spy if you get it, so you get 1 influence and 1 purchasing power, 1 command, or 1 fighter. You've Pointing the Way with Paul Atreides. Again, some really cool parts from the movie. So if you've 1 or more send words to the conflict, you get to draw an intrigue card. You've Shrouded Council. You get to draw an intrigue card. Delivery Logistics, again from a Harkonnen. This is the agent icons showing you're in complete contracts. So you get, this is interesting, you get to actually complete a contract. You've Corrupt Bureaucrat, so when this card is discarded, you get 3 coins, and if you recall a spy this turn, you get a contract. Mercantile Affairs, so if you complete a contract this turn, you get an intrigue card. Chom Demands, so complete 1 of your contracts, and this is a good one because you can just complete them. And there was that end turn aspect that if you have more than 4 completed contracts, that you get an extra victory point, so this could be quite good. And if you've completed 4 more contracts, you trash this card and you go up with all of those factions. Now that is a very handy card. Now you have a Zixian Ambassador, so you get a spice and you get 1 influence, and if you have 2 or more tech tiles, you go up in influence. The same thing here again. And we have House Haggle cards, which of course are for the solo play. So it's nice to see that these are here as well. So you got Acquired Tech, you got Teak's Stitch, and we have here Rival cards. Now these are a new faction as well. So you got Duncan Idaho. So you've got Peter de Veers, Chani, Count Hesmir Fenring, Gaius Helen Moyam, and Coda Oidik of Ix. So I'm guessing this again might be for the solo play game because it was packed in with the House Hagel cards. So a lot of very interesting things here, and we'll have a quick look at the skirmish cards and what other little goodies we have in here. So we have navigation cards, which are new. We have intrigue cards, and we only have 2 new conflict skirmish cards. A little disappointing. I kind of like these, but nevertheless, we'll have a look at the navigation cards first. So I'm not 100% sure what these do. So if this is a navigation slot 4 for the rest of the game during each of your reveal turns, you get 1 purchasing power. If you trash a card that costs 1 or more, 2. So this must be something to do with the Spacing Guild. And again, a lot of interesting things here where you could spend 5 to get a victory point or a way to get troops. So the navigation cards again are interesting. We have a lot of new intrigue cards. So again, adaptive tactics, 1 spice, and again, this symbol which allows you to just throw troops from the garrison straight into it. So that's a plot card. Desert support. Again, you get a lot of troops for that. Emperor's Invitation. So the card you play this turn has the Emperor's icon. Honor Guard. So recruiting a Sardaukar commander, including where you acquire 1 costs 1 less per this turn. Return the favor. So you, yep, a bit of revenge going. So you have a combat, and for every faction you have 2 or more influence, you get an extra +1 combat. So that's an interesting one to have. Sacred Pools, or an endgame if you have a lot of water. So I like that. That's kind of a very faith-based one for the Fremen. You seize production, very communist of them. So if you have 1 or more Sardaukar commanders in the conflict, you get 2 spice. The strong survive 3 combat, or retreat 1 of your troops and trash a card. A tenuous bond. So again, interesting. Go down 1 faction to go up another, and trash a card from your discard pile that costs 1 or more for 5. Withdrawal agreement, to withdraw 3 of your troops and to go up a faction. That's interesting. False orders. Each opponent spying in this board space where you sent an agent this turn must move that spy. You've Grasp Arrakis, 3 combat, and flip 2 of your face-up conflict cards for a endgame victory point. That's interesting now. So flip 2 of your face-up conflict cards. That's interesting. Insider information, spy of course, to trash and draw a card, or ignore influence requirements in board spaces for sending an agent this turn. Ripples in the Sand, if you want more sandworms in the conflict, get an intrigue. Sleeper unit, again, more agent spy stuff. You have ambitious, calculating, controls, devious, discerning, insidious, resourceful, sadistic, shrewd, sinister, unnatural, withdrawn. So these are all here with one of the leaders, De Veers, I believe. So that's kind of interesting as well. That'll be worth checking out the instructions to see what that means. And you have a course negotiation, redeploy 3 or more units to the conflict in a single turn. Reveal 3 contracts from the bank, take 1 and trash the other 2. Battlefield research for another endpoint goal, and you have rapid engineering, where if you have 3 or more tech tiles, you can choose 2 of these or discard a card to get 1 cheaper on that. And finally, we have the 2 new conflict cards, which of course have the yes, different symbols up here. So I presume that they're wild, so that if you, another way to gain victory points in the Imperium Uprising is if you had matched a couple of the cards. So in this one, you get a couple of spies, intrigue for 2 Solari, 2 intrigue, 2 Solari, intrigue, 2 Solari, trash a card, water, and Solari and 2 Solari. And this is just conflict 1 or 2, so there's no major victory points in this because the combat is just heating up. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was everything in the Dune Imperium Bloodlines game expansion. A very interesting expansion. One I was delighted to pick up when I was at a recent board game convention called NaveCon. So as always, if you enjoy these videos, please like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And until next time, this is Sean from The Lucky Roll, signing off.